Hello and welcome into this week's edition of The Pole Position right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me tonight. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, welcome. This is a channel where we discuss lots of motorsports, namely NASCAR, ARCA, IndyCar, and Formula One. We do plan to broaden that scope eventually, but for now, those are the series that we cover. So, on tonight's episode of The Pole Position, we have five races to recap for you from this past weekend. 3 races from Pocono, ARCA, NASCAR Xfinity, and NASCAR Cup. And then we have 2 races for the IndyCar Series from Detroit. So we're just going to go in chronological order. We will start on Friday, and we're going to look at the ARCA Racing Series from Pocono Raceway, the General Tire #AnywhereIsPossible 200. Now, if you missed our ARCA Rewind show from Saturday, you'll want to go check that out because we have a more in-depth recap of this race for you, as well as an exclusive interview with winner Harrison Burton, so you will definitely want to go check that out. But for our quick recap of it on tonight's pole position, Harrison Burton, as we already said, won the race. His MDM teammates coming home right behind him, second and third, Sheldon Creed and Zane Smith. Travis Braden with a very strong run, his best finish of the season in fourth. And last year's winner of this race, Riley Herbst, came home in the 5th position. Rest of your top 10 were Gus Dean, Joe Graff Jr., the rundown says Natalie Decker, but it was Brennan Poole running the race as she was recovering from hernia surgery last Friday. Chase Purdy and Noah Gragson rounded out the top 10, in that 54 car for DGR Crosley. So now let's continue on to Saturday, and we will look at the NASCAR Xfinity Series from Pocono, that being the 3rd annual Pocono Green 250, recycled by J.P. Mascaro and Sons. 100 laps from the Tricky Triangle. And Kyle Busch took home the victory in this one, his 92nd career Xfinity Series victory. Chase Elliott close behind him, didn't really have much for Kyle in this race, but Chase Elliott there in second in the 23 car for GMS Racing, filling in for Spencer Gallagher. Daniel Hemrick came home in third, held down that second position until about 2 laps to go when Chase got by him. Austin Cindric with a strong run in fourth in that 12 car for Team Penske this week. And Cole Custer rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10, Elliott Sadler, John Hunter Nemechek, Paul Menard in the 22 for Team Penske this week. In 8th, Tyler Reddick and Ryan Truex rounded out the top 10. Alright, so we'll shift gears now from stock cars to open wheel, and we will head to Detroit for duel number 1 in the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix. The Chevy Detroit Grand Prix has 2 races, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. So we'll start off with race number 1 from Saturday. Scott Dixon picking up his 42nd career Verizon IndyCar Series victory in this 70-lapper. Ryan Hunter-Reay comes home in the 2nd position. Alexander Rossi 3rd. Teammate Marco Andretti comes home in 4th, so Andretti Autosport 2-3-4 in this one, and Takuma Sato rounded out the top 5. Ed Jones, Will Power, Robert Wickens, Joseph Newgarden, and Spencer Pigot, the rest of the top 10. So now let's head back over to Pocono, and we'll look at what the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup guys did yesterday in the Pocono 400. Martin Truex Jr. picked up the win in this one. And again, if you haven't caught our rewind shows, we did one for Xfinity and one for the Cup race. So you want to go check those out too for more in-depth recaps of those races. If you haven't already seen those, we'll break them down a lot more. Highlights, post-race interviews, all that good stuff. Here on Pole Position, we just kind of quickly go through everything and catch you up very quickly on what happened over the weekend. But again, if you want more in-depth recaps, you got to go to the rewind shows. So Martin Truex Jr. wins the Pocono 400 for his 17th career Cup Series victory. Kyle Larson comes home in the 2nd position. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski rounding out the top 5. Rest of your top 10, Ryan Blaney, Eric Almirola, Jimmy Johnson, Joey Logano, and Chase Elliott rounds out the top 10. to put the second Hendrick Motorsports car in the top 10. Now we end the weekend with the second duel of the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix for the IndyCar Series. And you would think, same weekend, relatively the same weather, we'd have fairly the same results. And we do in a way, but we don't. It's not the same race winner. Ryan Hunter-Reay picks up the win in this one. He was second on Saturday, and he picks up the win on Sunday for his 17th career IndyCar Series victory. Will Power comes home in second. Ed Jones with a strong run in third. Scott Dixon and Graham Rahal rounding out the top 5. Rest of your top 10, Robert Wickens, Tony Kanaan, Charlie Kimball, Marco Andretti, and Simon Pagenaud rounding out the top 10. So that is everything that happened this weekend from the series that we cover. So I think that will do it for us tonight on the pole position. Again, as I keep reminding you, if you want more in-depth recaps of the NASCAR and the ARCA races, you got to go to the Rewind shows, and we break them down a lot more there than we do here on the pole position. The ARCA Rewind show, especially this week, we do have, like I said, an exclusive interview with Harrison Burton, the winner of that race, as well as highlights on all those shows, results, point standings following the races, everything you could possibly want. So you want to go check those out if you're not already. But that's going to do it for us tonight on the pole position. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing from Racing News Now. And hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the pole position where you always start on the front row. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.